Listening Part 5. Listen to part of a radio program.
The French philosopher René Descartes, who lived in the first half of the 17th century, believed that animals were beings without minds. According to his philosophy, animals were simply biological machines, that is, machines that could live and breathe but not think on their own. In recent years, however, we've seen a move away from this idea. Today, many scientists believe humans have been underestimating animals. New studies show that animals have a variety of mental skills, such as a good memory, the ability to understand symbols, and an awareness of self. Some animals can even understand others' motives, imitate voices, and show creativity. How do scientists prove whether animals have the capacity to think intelligently? On today's program, Amazing Science interviewed 3 people who work with some of the world's most intelligent animals. Diane Wilberforce is a scientist who has done important research involving birds and thinking. Most people think that birds are, well, bird-brained, which is to say not very smart. But do birds have higher mental skills?
Well, for one thing, I found that crows are able to use tools, and they can actually make the tools themselves. In my laboratory, we conduct an interesting experiment. We put a piece of meat in a bottle. Beside the bottle, we put a thin piece of metal, about the length of a pen. The metal is flexible, and the crows first bend it to shape it into a kind of hook, which they then use to pull the meat from the bottle. It's really clear from research that these birds are learning. They're showing clear signs of intelligence, and they know how to figure things out. Another thing my research shows is that parrots understand abstract concepts such as shapes and colors. Each of my parrots is very special. Perhaps the most intelligent one is named Polly. When I show her 2 green objects and say the 2 words, "What same?" she answers, "Color." If I show her a basketball and a baseball and ask, "What same?" she says, "Shape." I think this illustrates the ability to use the abstract concepts of shape and color.
A wide range of animal studies confirms that animals can learn and change. This skill is best illustrated by dogs. Samantha Bean owns a border collie named Betsy. Betsy can remember and recognize over 200 objects and frequently performs on television. But how did the dog learn to do this?
Well, in one room, we have pictures of 200 objects, and in an adjacent room, we have the 200 objects themselves. First, I show Betsy a picture, then she goes into the next room, chooses the corresponding object, and then brings it back to me. She can do this for all 200 objects. Recognizing an object in a picture is clearly a type of abstract thinking.
There's one animal, the dolphin, who has a brain that's even larger than a human brain. But does that mean that they are more intelligent than humans? Researcher Matthew Leonard explains.
I don't think they're smarter than humans, but all of our dolphins are very intelligent. Along with humans, elephants, and apes, dolphins exhibit self-awareness. That is to say, when they look at themselves in a mirror, they see the image and can interpret that they are looking at themselves.
Whether or not animals are intelligent is a question that scientists will study for years to come. But after hearing about the amazing things that animals can do, it's clear that we're only just beginning to learn about the animals on our planet.
Now answer the questions. You have 2 minutes. This is the end of the listening section.